a 36% chance. I hope we get a little rain. That would be nice. I'm not worried about the guys because they're underneath that patio, and I covered that patio, and they're right in the center on the table, so they won't get wet. So they're high and dry. So the guys will be okay. They finally came down. I went out there to go check on them, and they were coming down. And then when they saw me, they started going. Butter started going back up. So I came back inside real fast. I don't want them to, I want them coming down, and I want them getting some water and some food, because you could tell they were sitting up there and they were drooling, and I could tell Element was dehydrated. I kept telling him, you need to come down here and get some water, bub. So they finally did come down and do that. So that's very important. I'll check on them before I go to bed here, but didn't want to, because when I went out there, they went back up, and I'm like, okay, well, I can't have that. I got to have them going down and eating the food and drinking the water, especially drinking the water. That's muy más importante. So critters. And so yeah, they're goofy, but we'll see how those two do. See how they kind of how they kind of acclimate to the place, and if they can feel comfortable, and then we open the door in about 2 weeks and let them just stroll around the grounds until you tell them cuckoo choo. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Mr. Butters and Element, cute dorks. We ended up with 2 more cats. I was like, what? I was telling that to the birds. I told Dad, I said, man, it's all on you and Patrice. The birds sit there and but they're still okay because you got the back patio. But right now they haven't gone on the front one at all. Okay, it's like, what the hell just happened? There's 2 cats sitting in a cage right next to our food and our bird bath. Like, yeah. We'll see how things go in the morning. I did fill up the hummingbird feeders, so we'll see how things go tomorrow. And cats and rats and bats and elephants, and sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. A horse with a horn sticking out of its head? Why do you think that's lovely? It looks like a horse that's part psychotic rhino or something, I don't know. But it's weird the way people are. Yeah, they're kind of crazy. Yeah, they are. As long as there's a projectile that can stab somebody in the side, that's a lovely animal. That's a saber-toothed tiger. No, that's out of your face to eat with. All the better to eat with. And then there's the swordfish. Yeah, that's okay. But I wonder how that works. It's probably for protection. Maybe so, I would imagine. But evolution, talking about my evolution. And so you sit and don't wonder about things. Just and you don't have to over-examine it. You can simply understand it. As far as the things when people talk about evolution, and people, why aren't apes evolving into human beings now? Why aren't those? Animals do adapt over time, like human beings. When you go from the equator to the White Cliffs of Dover, and you stay there over long periods of time, and then your body and your skin adapt to your environment to survive in your environment, right? And so we know this as human beings, because as far as it's not much origin stories from what we're able to find by digging up them bones, digging archaeology and stuff. And I've told a lot of the stuff has been corrupted because of political, social agendas through cults and religions and stuff. And so that's disturbing. I can't tell you what's good and what's not and what's real. I can only tell you what I don't know just what is real. All I know just what I feel. When I had those prayers and meditations, it was a program for the Pentagon. It's really weird. I sat down and I did those, quote, spiritual exercises in my meditations. And I get this large black man with this beautiful brown woman that I know is his wife. She's gorgeous. He's, amazing. And then when I look back on it, it's like I'm talking to Adam and Eve. There was okay. Why didn't I get a white guy like on the Sistine Chapel? So you're saying the people that put the Obamas in office, okay, had better technology to trump the Mormon Church. Okay, but I never believed in any of the bullshit that the Mormon Church told me. I was going, ain't them dogs real voices, right? And so, as far as the whole Adam and Eve stories about that with the Sistine Chapel and stuff like that, I never bought all the mythological stuff about it. And I knew when Joseph was in that glen, okay, he was talking to a line of Father Adam with Jesus, the faith of Father Adam. But it was a white guy, okay? But the original Father Adam and Eve and Mother Eve that I talked to in prayer and meditation in North Carolina, okay, was a large black man with a beautiful brown woman that, kind of reminded me of the girl I was going to marry. She was a little bit more robust, of course, because Law had asthma and other things and stuff. Law was a pretty girl, okay, but she had a little button nose and round lips and big brown eyes and a beautiful afro, that sparkled. And because she used to put stuff in it, he talked about that. He showed me around, and it was basically like a well-built hut, okay, and it was in a part in Africa where it was almost like a Disney movie because the ecosystem was so, you had to deal with snakes, you had to deal with critters, you had to deal with that, you had to watch with your kids, you had to do the whole Chelsea Theron thing on the Fast and the Furious, right, and stuff. So there were those things. And then I had other visions later when I was here, and I had prayers with Joe and Hiram Smith, okay, and it was about Adam and Eve digging ditches to the crops and them playing in the ditches with the kids after they got it all done and it was rolling through, and then they're mudding and playing and just having a good time because they got all done and the crops were going to be, and they were, you got 4 hungry children and a crop in the field, and she's not Lucille, she's Eve, she ain't gonna leave him, and they're just beautiful. And I've gotten lots of visions that they say were planted in my brain, but it was like, but that was with Hiram and Joe Smith. So they planted Hiram and Joe Smith to make it eclectic, to go back in time to talk to Father Adam and Mother Eve, and they were black people in Africa. Because it makes sense. Because if you're by the equator, you get more melanin, and then you move north to the White Cliffs of Dover, which is where Joseph Smith's and my mother's and father's people migrated because of tribalism and violence and stupidity and selfishness. And typically, what happens with people like me, we get traced all across the world because he's going to come and ruin my goddamn, my pyramids will be meaningless, dumbass monuments to my psychological insanity if he comes along, and Holy Moses, Batman, And so it's, wow, where they get a load of me, so, but, yeah, interesting. It is, though, it is, but, love, 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 why'd you take so long to come to me? Were you hiding all the time? And all I saw was your sweet face. And you love that song? I like that. It's one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite Donny Hathaway song that's except for I have it, I listen to it year round. Shake a hand now. Hang all the mistletoe, I want to get to know you better. This Christmas, fireside is burning bright. We're caroling all through the night, and this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. I love that song. Shake a hand now. I love the snot out that song. That was one of my favorite Christmas carols. I think anybody that, that's like, oh, come on, that's got to be one of the best Christmas carols ever. No? Okay, that's my opinion. Hell, I think even Johnny Mathis would say he's right. He's right. Yeah. And if Andy Williams is still he's right, you dumb little bastards, he's right. Okay. When did Andy Williams sound like a little mobster? Oh, I lost my voice singing too much. It was too much Oh Holy Night. Okay. Just kidding around. Not like Andy Williams a lot. He's one of my favorite Christmas carolers. Oh, yeah. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of... Yeah. Christmas is long, long ago. Yeah, I love that song. Yeah. And the other one, I liked his. He sang very jazzy ones. It's the holiday season, and whoop-de-doo, and dickory-dock, And don't forget to hang up your sock, 'cause just exactly at 12 o'clock, he'll be coming down the chimney down. He'll be coming down the chimney. He'll have a big fat sack upon his back, and lots of goodies for you and for me, and to leave a peppermint stick for old Saint Nick hanging on the Christmas tree. It's the holiday season, whoop-de-doo, and dickory. Anybody else like him? Jingle Bell, the Cage Thompson's Jingle Bells, and a song for the Christmas tree. All their good wishes, gifts for one and all, some mistletoe, and a song for the Christmas tree. His was, but he also did Sweet Little Jesus Boy, which is the shit. Sweet little holy child, we didn't know who you were. They knew exactly who he was. And Herod tried to hunt him down and kill him. They know exactly who the kid is. Judy Krishnamurti, Sun Yat-sen, Siddhartha, Krishna, Moses. They tried to hunt him down and kill him. David, they tried to undermine him and hunt him down, and he was going to take away their great concubine rooms and all that. Yeah, they knew exactly who he was. That's why somebody wrote that song, and I guess it was good intent, but it's not true. Herod and Caiaphas knew exactly what prophecy said about it, and then the people that were from away and out of the tribe, the 3 wise men from the east, knew exactly that he had fulfilled prophecy, and they had to get him to Alexandria, where all the kings that assimilated to the great Byzantines and Sumerians and Egyptians and stuff would try to hunt him down and kill him, because he's going to bring down their legacy, because he's right and they're wrong. He's good and they're bad. He's truth and they're lie, and life is eternal, grace is infinite. They knew exactly who that little holy child was. They tried to hunt him down and kill him. And 3 men from Arabia and Persia, and maybe even Bond, maybe even up to Kashmir or Pakistan, okay, that had similar, because life's eternal and grace is infinite. Okay, there's no God but God, and God's not begotten, nor is God begotten. God always is, always has been, and always will be. Okay. We 3 kings from Orient are carrying gifts. We traveled desperately, eating till proceed. Maybe it was prayer that brought those merchants out there, because they knew what these barbarians valued, and that would be needed to protect this child so he could be the standard of manhood to save us from the Roman Empire, from the Republic, from writing down a law and saying it is gravity and photosynthesis and try to trump God's glory with the ego of invention. Right? Desperate leading, still proceeding, star of wonder, star of bright, star of royal beauty. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It was the Star of David, the North Star that Mom had my dad go, because El Paso del Norte, El Paso del Norte, the pass of the north, okay, to go up to the cradle and go up to Santa Fe and to those mountains and our sacred mountains, where you can go up Baldy and you can get up there in the Baldy and you can see all the mountains from the distance all the way around. And Chilolo and Jerry were talking about that. He said, yeah, that's what it's like. Taylor has very similar. You go up to Taylor, you can go, it's easier to go up on Baldy. Taylor, the same thing. When you see it with all the snow, and you can see it from the Sandias all the way across, and you can see up, it's up to Baldy. You can't see as far as into Arizona like you can from Baldy. Baldy, you can sit up there, and if you look back, you can see the Sandias, you can see Taylor, you can see, you can see, up by Durango, you can see up in Utah, okay? You can see all the mountain ranges all around, where all the water for all the people. Yeah, it's sacred. You see it and it's like, wow. It really gives you an understanding of our eternity and the headwaters of rivers. Ba-na-na-na-na, bum-bum, bum-bum. Ba-na-na-na-na, bum-bum. And that family celebrating in that ditch, probably more than 10,000 years ago in North Africa, near a mountain called Zion, right? Holy Mount Zion. You see that in Mount Zion. That's where Moses went up when he was with Jethro's family. Okay. Mount Sinai was on the way to the valley of the River Jordan and up to where, his people that had been turned into slaves in Egypt for years and years, that he had to get them way back to And so, but when he was with Jethro and his beautiful Zipporah, that was, it was just another, just another closer walk with thee. That's why Adam told me when we talked in North Carolina, what's in a name, beloved? What's in a name, my loved one? What's in a name? How many bodies have we shared in spirit throughout time to get to where we are now? You go from Eve to Zipporah to Jesus to Mary to, same with Muhammad of Khadijah. Because I know because you had Abram, okay, with Sarai, and Abraham with Sarah, and Muhammad, Khadijah. Okay, what's in a name? I know you, I will dance with you once upon a dream. I know you, you're the smile, the look in your eyes, so familiar a gleam. And then when you see me, you'll love me at once the way you did once upon a dream. And there you birds go waking up and spoiling people's best dreams, right? Cinderella. How do we help Cinderella keep her hair? And not go into that hospital to be tortured because you guys will not stand up for Lord's Prayer. That's it. Stand up for Lord's Prayer. There you go. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's that simple. Okay? Bring down all your mechanization and your solutions to mechanized problems with more mechanization. And go back to the start to begin. Don't bomb yourself back in the Stone Age. But understand global change. Understand why we have ice ages. Understand why it's necessary to sustain our life on planet Earth as living, breathing species that need gravity, that needs gravity to work right, photosynthesis to work right, high quality H2O, healthy food, good immune systems. Because it's not that, like I was dealing with the thing with the mosquitoes, the mosquitoes, when we use the garlic citrus repellent, if you're not driving cars, bars, and wars and making people sick with chemical poisoning, then you're healthy, you have the repellents, you set up Salomon, he used incense and other kind of things like that, natural things. The Native American people used sage and other things, and they would burn that, and it would burn slowly, and it would keep the pest away, the mosquitoes. Other different things, okay. The Burns Red on Little Big Man and Willem Wallace and his guys, they would get that mud and they would cover themselves with, and that would keep them from getting burned while they had to hunt or work and do things out in the sun for a long period of time in Scotland. And they thought these people were crazy because they're covered in mud and they look like wackadoodles. It's like, if you don't, you're gonna get baked and it's gonna be uncomfortable, because we're not, we only have that intense of a sunlight and that hot only very small portions of the year, and then it gets really cold. And your nostrils have to be thin because of the cold air, or you'll breathe it in and get pneumonia. So you don't want to have to, unless you have the capacity to do things right. That's why I don't like, I do like indoor stadiums for Canadian football and up north. And I don't like the African kiddos with the big nostrils out there playing in the frozen tundra in Green Bay in January or December. If we make it through December, everything's going to be all right, I know. It's the coldest part of winter, and we need to be... And that's why one of my favorite football players, okay, when I was a kid, and Gordy, who was Gordon Loftus, okay, who comes from, here we coo through the ice and snow, right? He was a wimp. He hated it. He was griping at us to win a Super Bowl because he wanted heaters on that damn sideline, because Bud Grant, who coached in Winnipeg Blue Bombers, he said they couldn't get heaters on their side of the field and watch the other team have heat until they won the Super Bowl, right, to inspire them to win the Super Bowl. And poor Chuck would get so mad. Chuck was from Miami, Florida. Okay, yeah, I don't think he played at the University of Miami Redskins. He played at the University of Miami, all about the U, before it was all about the U. But that's where he played. He was from Miami, Florida. He was a tropical black person. Okay, He got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. He hated Memorial Stadium in Minneapolis. He hated it there. He griped about it all the time. He could not stand the cold. Like what's his name? Who plays for the Timberwolves? Julius Randle. He came from New York, and he said, New York is cold. But he goes, I didn't know how cold it really was here. I mean, it is cold. I mean, it's cold in New York, but it's cold here. He was like, I didn't know how cold it was. It's cold. And because we have modern, with a car with a heater that you warm up for an hour and put a dipstick in it to keep the oil from getting and stuff like that, it's yeah, okay. And so we don't need to do things excessively and compulsively, but we're moving people. We have to move them intelligently. If they all want to get together and, just hear those sleigh bells ringling, ting, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you who. So it's not that bad if dark folks tend to migrate more towards the south and white folks tend to migrate towards the north, because they're just genetically predisposed to live, love, and thrive in those kind of conditions over tens of thousands of years. Jolly old St. Nicholas, lend you this way. Okay, now, if you marry someone, Lena Horne, that girl's nostrils are thinner than mine. She'd do fine in Winnipeg, right? She'd do fine. Right? Okay. But, and my nostrils are thin, but they kind of got a little width to them here and stuff like that. So I do all right in the Southwest. Okay. I prefer more of a Bavarian climate. I like, in the Southwest, I like the Gila. I loved living in Santa Fe as far as the weather went. I loved it. I can't tell you how much I loved the weather and the powdery snow, and I just loved it. And it still had my Mexican culture. Okay. And then you have sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? Through the lanes, snow is glistening. A wonderful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in the lane. But you also got luminaires and the posada, and you got all the things that I grew up with. So it's like a combination of all things. Until Salvador Dali and Rodeo Drive threw up all over. Jerry and Cholula were talking about that today. Yeah, until Rodeo Drive threw up all over the plaza, and it's horrible, man. We're like, what the hell is this? Art Deco? What the fuck's that? Mama Maria, don't you know we need your black pottery back today? Okay. We've been waiting to see you, baby. Come and bring it back, That's what I was sitting there listening to A House Is Not a Home by Ella Fitzgerald. She had me crying. She's so good. She's crying. It was live. So I don't know if she ever sang it in a studio. I don't know. So a lot of the Ella songs, she would sing other songs and she would see them live. And you wouldn't get them on a studio. So a lot of the ones you got to get them. And okay, they didn't studio record that one? No. Oh, wow. Good gravy. I'm certain as the Jordan and the curtain and the Zampa lamp that But was it Dion that sang it first? Because it was 1969 she was singing it, right? I don't know if it's Dion that sang it first. But you would think Luther Vandross would like Ella Fitzgerald and had her sing it. Oh, yeah. Lady Music's about to sing, right? And you just let her sing, and she starts singing, and you're just like, wow, yeah. Every time. She never lets you down. No. She never lets you down. Every time she comes out there and she starts belting, and you're just like, I am so Bing Crosby, man. I'm so Bing Crosby. This woman's got me crying, man. She is so good. So much sincerity and so much beauty in that expression. Yeah, I really dig Ella. She's my girl. She's my girl. Yeah, love me some Ella. And it's funny how much my first when I was in college and had a girlfriend that you better go okay, and that we had an intimate relationship with, it resembles her a lot, So I was like, yeah, it's kind of interesting to me. Yeah, let's build a stairway to the stars. I knew what I was looking at. I knew it. I'll show you around. Yeah, I'll show you around the time. Don't be alarmed. There is really no harm. It's only the young legal immigrant showing the black girl from Dayton, Ohio, the town, right? All over Phoenix, right? No, I told her, I think we went to Circles and we went to a couple different things. I said, well, you have to stay up late night, but they do have BET and ONT Raps and BET things, for Ronnie Simpson and all that late night. And that's how we keep a little hip to stuff that's happening on the East Coast that we don't even know about on the West. And then when you go to Circles, you found out about music that they had on the East Coast. I didn't find out about Brian McKnight till I started working at Circles. And Piece of a Dream and Key Sweat, because they didn't play them on the radio stations in Phoenix. So you had to get all your music from the Billboard affiliate and get all that stuff. And then it finally started showing up here and there on the radio. Like The Deal and there's something very special at this time of the year. But when the leaves are gone, does that love disappear? I never underestimate the new love of spring. But I'm proud to say in my heart I know my love lasting. 'Cause every time I close my eyes I think of you. And no matter what the season is, I still love you with all my heart. And I want to be with you wherever you are. I really like this song, right? I only think of you on 2 occasions. That's day and night. Don't go for broke. Don't go for broke. Don't for broke. Let's live the Lord's Prayer, and then you can be with her. Only the truth can make your love right. Just fixing the lyrics. Just fixing the lyrics. Well, money's not real. Just helping you out. Okay. I'm going to go, y'all. Let's load this one up. And then let's go get some sleep. And then we'll wake up in the morning and we'll get back to whatever and however we can do things to help the technology try to get better. It's not really anything that we can do on a mass scale to help with the human beings, because the people that use the technology to manipulate human beings to feel powerful and feel like they're an authority obviously still suck at this time. Maybe they'll stop tucking tomorrow. Maybe they won't. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Worst day of my life. What do you think? I like your sleeves. They're real big. Okay, guys. I love you. All right. Peace out.